It came to pass when the priests were come out of the holy place, all the priests that were present were sanctified and did not then wait by course. So next verse. Also the Levites, which the singers, see, they were specialized singers. They just did nothing but sing to the Lord. From special families. All of them were dressed in white with beautiful musical instruments. Next verse. Stood at the east end of the altar, and with them were trumpeters, 120. It says, it came to pass as the trumpeters and singers were as one. This is key now. You hear me, all of you in the choir. When they lifted their voice as one. As one. Next verse. When they were one, it says a cloud came. The reason there are no clouds in many churches, they don't sing as one. They are divided in their worship. But when we make one sound, one, that's why I think sometimes it's not good to have too many musicians. Because too many could be risky. Because see, you're not together in the spirit. Only when you get to be one in the spirit can you play as one. That's why often I say, no, don't play. You just play. Because one is safer than a group. If you find one who can sing, you don't need nobody. Because one person can bring in the cloud. But the Bible has something marvelous to say to us. Not only did the ministering to the Lord, as you see, they began ministering to the Lord as one to praise His name together. Not only did the cloud come, but later the fire came. In second Chronicles 7, it says the fire came. And we need the power of God now. But when did the cloud come? The cloud did not come when the temple was completed. The cloud didn't show up when all the animals had been offered. The cloud came when they ministered. Sometimes we think God's going to show up just because the building is now ready. He's not interested in buildings already. Or He came because they gave a lot of money. No. They offered a lot of animals on the day there. Thousands of animals were sacrificed, but God didn't show up. He only showed up when they ministered to Him. Are you people listening? So everything you do doesn't bring the presence. Only when you touch His heart. Worship. When did God call Paul the apostle? Did God call him on the road to Damascus? No. On the road to Damascus, He met him. He met him, only met him. In the house of Ananias, he was saved and filled with the Spirit, but he was not called. God did not even call him when he went to Arabia for 14 years. Nor was he called when he went to Jerusalem and met with Peter. He was called in Acts 13 when he ministered unto the Lord. It says that in the Bible. Acts 13 verse 1. Look at it. Come on, let's see it. It says, now they were in the church that was in Antioch, and this is years after Paul had met the Lord. I will remind you, because he talks in Galatians how he was saved, then he fled. He went to Arabia for 14 years. He came to Jerusalem and met the apostles, and then he went back to his home in present-day Turkey, in Tarsus. And then Barnabas went and found him, brought him to Antioch. So this is at least 16 years after his salvation. When they were together in a church in Antioch. Antioch is present-day Syria. It's a city in Syria, was. It says that they were together with prophets and teachers like Barnabas and Simeon and so forth, Lucius. And then next verse says, as they ministered to the Lord. To the Lord. This is way before he could minister for him. To the Lord. They were fasting and ministering to the Lord, and the Holy Ghost said, separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work I've called them. So when was he called? He wasn't called on the road to Damascus. He wasn't called when he went to see the apostles. He was called when he touched the heart of his master. You want God to call you? Spend time with him. Minister to him. He'll call you. No, you're not going to get called just because somebody lays hands on you. No, no, no. You're not going to get called just because you get around ministry. It's not going to happen. You get called when you're alone, ministering to your master and loving him with all your heart. The one thing I want more than anything else in my life right now is to love him with intensity. Intensity, not weakness. I don't want to die till I have reached that place that I would love him intensely. And yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'm determined. In Daniel chapter 7, beginning at verse 9 to 14, we see something amazing. We see that when the angels of glory ministered to him, and that is like stunning, that God would move when angels ministered to him to judge the wicked. Would you please put that on the screen, Daniel 7? In Daniel chapter 7, beginning at verse 9, it says that he saw the throne of God, called him the Ancient of Days. His garment was white as snow, his hair white like pure wool, his throne like flames of fire. Next verse. And fire came out of his throne, and it says thousands ministered to him. Ministered to him. Now we don't know whether they were all angels or others were not angels. We do know that 10,000 times 10,000s most likely were angels stood before him. And then it says, watch this, next verse. Because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, the Antichrist, it says God destroyed the Antichrist. Look at me, all of you. When they worshiped, when they ministered to him, they didn't have to ask him to destroy his enemies. He destroyed his enemies. Touching the heart of God moved him to judge the wicked. Antichrist was not destroyed because someone prayed. Antichrist wasn't destroyed because somebody fasted. Antichrist was destroyed because they worshiped. When you worship, you don't have to tell God to deliver you from your enemies. He'll deliver you before you ask.